Most sales advice that I see online is just awful, regurgitated advice. It's coming from people that spent more time creating content on sales and actually being in sales and building sales systems. And I can say that with confidence because I personally know a lot of these guys that you see online and I know their backgrounds. And their best skill set is not sales, but learning and teaching what they just learned with so much confidence that to most amateurs actually sounds like they've done it before. And what you're about to watch is a recording of a live call that I ran yesterday with a bunch of my clients that I personally sold. And on the call, I actually reference the sales techniques that I used during the sales process in which I sold them. Now, this call is called a power call. We hold them 3 times per week, and we go over all different topics from sales, marketing, advertising, retention, everything around growing gyms, which we're the best in the world at. This call was titled Becoming a Sales Pro. And it starts off with me breaking down some common sales models that you hear all the time and I believe are nonsense, and I prove it. And over time, this call turns into me talking with some of those people that I actually sold. We talk about the techniques in which I use, and I even ask them if they're glad that I use these techniques to get them over the finish line. And, well, you'll see what they said. Enjoy. Okay, you're going to see some stuff here that you've probably heard before. We're going to go through each one. Some of these are true principles. Some of them are myths or have a little bit of an asterisk. And if you don't pay attention, you might fall for something that just sounds really, really cool. One of the things I talk about the other day with the team is there's some things that just on social media, they sound really good, but they're not really that true. So for example, that idea of like, aim for the moon, because even if you miss, at least you'll hit a star. It's like there's no scientific evidence that proves that that's true. Like if you set goals that are so massive that at least you'll still hit really goals. It sounds logical, but there's no evidence. There's actually more evidence tying to having shorter, smaller milestone goals along the way that are very achievable and allowing people to overachieve to build up their confidence and go from there. So sometimes things just sound good, but they're not true. So the first one isn't going to be one of those. First one is more of a test. I want to be able to hear from you guys. Come off mute as soon as you think you know the answer. By the way, I already know this is Ronnie's favorite game. She's already probably on the button. What I want to know is, what's the rest of this? There's dogs, horses, and what in sales? Dogs, horses, and what?
Tiger.
Who said that?
Charles.
There we go. Yes, there's dogs, horses, and tigers. So let's go through what that means. Dogs, horses, and tigers. So in sales, you're going to be one of these 3, period. Now, what is the difference between a dog, horse, and a tiger in sales? Well, if you think about a dog, you got to feed a dog. What happens if you don't feed a dog? They whine, they complain, they start, just sit in the corner bitching, essentially, about not getting what they want. And eventually they'll what? They'll die. And salespeople that are dogs, we need more leads. These leads stink. These aren't qualified. They're not even answering. That's a dog, right? They give me a lead that's good and easy so that you can see how good at sales I really am. But in reality, sales is the whole bucket. It's your ability to generate leads as well. So if you don't have the ability to generate leads on your own, well, then you're simply a dog. And sometimes dogs fit in a company. Like sometimes you're selling something that's just so easy and you have more order takers than anything else. But in our business, we definitely don't want a dog. Now, there's horses and there's tigers as well. Horses are actually okay. They're not bad, especially if you get them around at least one tiger, or if the manager or the leader is a tiger or knows how to train. But horses work well. If you think about a horse, they get shit done. But you got to whip them, because if you don't whip that horse, it's just going to sit there and graze all day. It doesn't have to work. It's totally fine just standing around doing nothing. And so salespeople that are horses, as long as they're managed effectively and they're able to be given like, hey, here's what we need done by every day. Here's the activity, check them off. These people could actually be very productive in an organization. And then you got tigers. Tigers don't need to be told it's time to eat. Tigers will eat even when they're not hungry. If they just ate and a bunny walks by, they got to bat the bunny down. Tigers will eat on a full belly. Now, if you think about salespeople, what that means is if you have a salesperson that, let's say by the 20th of the month, they already hit their goal, well, they're like, man, I'm on pace for 150% of goal. Like, they're not thinking I'm done. They're thinking, wow, I'm going to get 150% if I keep going this way. So that's a tiger, a person that isn't satisfied on the full belly. They want to continue to see what they can do. Now, these are very rare finds. They're hard. Very rarely, but it happens, do I see horses turn into tigers. But when you find a tiger, you got to feed them. So the way it works is you shoot your dogs. Sounds really bad, but listen. You shoot your dogs, you whip your horses, and you feed your tigers. So what that means, if you got a dog in the company and our model of what we need, it's not going to work. You got to let them go. They're not bad people. They're just bad fits, right? I'm a good person. Lakers should have picked me up. I'm not going to be a good fit for the team. I'm not going to help. I'm not going to produce. It's not going to work out well. Good person, bad player for the Lakers. Okay? Then you got horses. You got to whip them. If you don't whip them, if you don't stay on top of them, if you don't give them things that need to be done and milestones and benchmarks that they got to reach for, well, they're not going to be effective. Tigers, you got to feed them. So this is like the best leads that come in, go to the Tigers. As soon as a lead comes in, go to, because you know that Tiger's not only going to close them, but you know they're going to get referrals. You know they're going to continue to nurture because they're always looking for ways to get more food. So understand the differences between dogs, horses, and tigers? Yes? Everyone got it? Cool. So identify who you are and identify your people as to who they might be. And as long as your horse is not bad, just know what your job needs to be. And if they're tigers, just give them food and get out of their way. Okay? All right, next. People love to buy, but they hate to be. What's the rest?
Sold.
That's right. Who said that?
That was me, Ronnie.
Ronnie. There we go, Ronnie. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold. Well, I don't believe that. It sounds cool. Sounds like it makes sense, right? But I think that's because we're interpreting or we're using in a synonymous way sold as if you tricked me. But in reality, that's not what sold is. Kim, Dave, you guys are on here. I'm looking to see who else I know. I sold you guys. Yes or no?
Yes.
Are you mad? Are you mad that I sold you? Are you happy or glad that I sold you?
Very happy.
Ty, I sold you. Are you happy that I sold you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Why are you happy that I sold you?
You just helped me make a decision I should have made.
And then like now that you're here, why are you happy?
The business is growing. The constraints that I spoke to you about are being resolved. So yeah, so all the trouble points are systematically being taken care of. So
Exactly. So the truth is people love to be sold good things. People don't like to be sold shit, and they don't like to be tricked. I like being sold. Sometimes, I mean, let's face it, when I get on the phone with a salesperson for a thing that I want, I'm kind of saying, sell me. That's basically the only reason I'm here. I'm not saying, let's talk about it and let's see if at the end of this, I want to do something. No, it's like, sell me. Like, help me understand what you guys do, how you do it, why it could help me, like, make sense of it for me. So it's not really true. People love to buy, and they also love to be sold. But we want to make sure that if we're selling something that's very good. So let's get away from the idea of people don't like to be sold, or I don't like being a salesperson because it makes me somebody that people don't like to be around. No, in fact, how many of you guys believe that some of the most interesting parts of a movie sometimes is like a sales scene? You ever watch a sales scene, like a good sales scene? And you're like, ooh, that looks smooth. So people love watching it too. But we hate watching bad salespeople. And unfortunately, most of the world is not trained really well on sales. But we don't like watching bad anything. I don't like watching bad football, right? I don't want to go watch football down the street of random old dads playing. I want to watch the NFL. I don't want to watch two weirdos that don't know how to fight. I want to watch a real fight. I want to see Mayweather. I want to see these guys do it, right? So when we're selling, if you don't like being a bad salesperson or a slimy salesperson, then train so that you could be a good one, just like any athlete or musician would train. Because I don't want to hear bad music, but man, I love hearing good music. And people love watching good salespeople present their products well and be able to really connect the challenge with the solution. People enjoy that. It's art. When it's done right, it's art. You guys agree with that? Yes? Awesome. All right, next. Sell them what they want, but then give them what they... What's next?
Need.
I'm putting red. Red is all about myths. Sell them what they want, but then give them what they need. Okay, I've heard this before. And here's the truth. There's kind of some truth to that, right? it's good to be able to give people what they need. But the truth is, why not give them what they want as well? I think we got to first give them what they wanted. We can also give them what they need. But the way I hear it is like, we sell them this, but then we give them that. But in reality, it's like, look, when you guys came to us and you said, look, I'm here for one reason. I want to grow my company. You probably didn't ask for a community. You probably weren't asking to make some new friends. That probably wasn't interesting to you. But we gave you that as well because that is a need. However, yeah, like first things first, we got to focus in on getting you what you wanted. Ash, in our meeting, Nick, in our meeting, come off mute. Like every Monday, what's the first thing we touch on?
Wins.
Wins. And then after we go through, and our wins, whose wins?
Our members wins.
Members wins. And after we go through members wins, we want to look at the 3 types of members that we have as far as the 3 like categories that they could be in. What are those types?
Good, great, needs improvement.
Good, great, and needs improvement. And what's that based on?
Them hitting
much-
goals.
Them hitting their goals. So what if they really love us?
It doesn't matter if they're not getting results.
What if they propose to you because they love you so much?
It doesn't matter.
So if they're not hitting their goals, where do they go?
Needs improvement.
Period. I don't care if you like us. Our job's not to get you to like us. It's that's what you wanted. That's what we sold you. So sell them what they want, then give them what they want, but also give them some other stuff that they can need and use. Does that make sense? So make sure as in your world, same thing. What is it they want? When I was selling them, what was the pain that I was like attaching to them? Was it that they haven't been able to get to this certain type of physical condition, mental, emotional commitment? What was it? And then how do I make sure that me and my team can really help them get there? So at the end of the day, I can look and say, remember when we told you this is what we're going to get you? How do you feel? Are you there? We're tracking it. Look at this. Look at the progress. Yeah, that makes sense? So don't sell them what they want, but then sell them give them what they need. Sell them what they want, give them what they want. Then you could throw in some other stuff too. Nothing wrong with over delivering. Okay, the next one, always be what?
Closing.
Always, who said that?
Kimberly.
Kimberly, always be closing. So here's the thing. I don't think you should always be closing. I think you should, for sure, I'm not going to write it because I don't want people later on to see it, but I want for you guys, you want to be qualifying first because the last thing you want to do is close somebody that you shouldn't have closed. This is another thing that I think makes salespeople bad, give them a bad rap, is you hear salespeople say stuff like, oh, I can sell ice to an Eskimo. I can sell ketchup, or what is it? I can sell white gloves. But what's the thing? I can't remember what it is. I could sell a ketchup popsicle to a man wearing white gloves. I can sell sand to a beach. And it's like, dude, that's awful. Eskimo doesn't eat ice. The guy wearing white gloves doesn't want a ketchup popsicle. This is a terrible sell. Like, why are we doing this? That's a great con, what we're saying, right? In reality, what we want to say is we're really good at helping people that have got a problem get connected with the solution. We're incredible at connecting people with what we're able to help with. And so we actually spend a good amount of time qualifying. If you remember Dave and Kimberly, because you guys were there in that room, I was like telling people like, look, if you're not going to do this, don't even join. If you're not going to do that, don't join. You guys remember that? So I'm a big part. Now here's the funny thing. That kind of communication actually gets the right people to want to buy. So you actually get people to want to lean into it. There's this interesting idea that the most powerful thing you can have in a negotiation, what do you guys think it is? What do you guys think is the most powerful thing you can have in a negotiation? Come off mute if you know. I'm not going to look at the chat, so you got to say it.
Trust.
Empathy.
Yeah. Here's the most powerful thing. If I want to go in there and I want to win a negotiation, the most powerful thing I could have in my pocket is not caring about the outcome. Like, look, I don't care. Right? If you wanted to sell me your house and it's like, yeah, I like the house, but I don't need the house. I'm fine. That's the most powerful thing I have. I don't need it. Simple as that. And so when you have that type of energy behind you, be surprised how powerful it is. How many of you guys have noticed that, like, when you were single, it was hard to find someone. Then as soon as you got in a relationship, all of a sudden, like, you had like 1 or 2 people like coming at you and you're like, oh, damn, now all of a sudden, right? Or when you were looking for a job, you couldn't really get a job. And all of a sudden, as soon as you got a job and you accept a position, you got a couple of emails and they're like, hey, we're looking to offer you. And you're like, oh, geez, I just literally just took a job. So there's this whole energy around it, but the same thing in sales. Like, I'm not attached to the outcome. If you don't want to buy, you don't have to buy. And so we're spending a good amount of time qualifying. And we don't do closing really ever. It's about selling. The closing shouldn't have to happen. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to actually dive into that right now as well. So how many of you guys have been on a first date before? Obviously, anybody here that's with somebody? Yeah. So, okay. So you've been on a first date before. The idea is, if you were a shitty date, if you were a mediocre date, and then you think some move at the end of the date is going to close the deal, you're so wrong. And so when I hear people that are struggling in sales ask for that piece, hey, what do I do when someone says I need to think about it? What do I do when someone says I need to speak to their spouse? It's like, well, first, how are you for the other 95% before? Because if you picked up your date late, and then on top of that, you got her in your car, you didn't open the door for her, and then she gets in your car and you got half empty water bottles all over the place. And then you get to the restaurant, you didn't make a reservation, so you had to wait 45 minutes. And then you get to then you're in the restaurant, you're just talking about yourself the entire time. And then at the end of the date, she didn't want to set up a second date with you. And you go, hey, give me some moves. What could I do to close that deal? It's like, listen, I don't think there's anything that could have saved you. Jesus couldn't help you there. You needed a lot more. You messed up all the way up to here. There's so many opportunities for you. Now, flip it. If, let's say, you showed up on time, you were early, and you were dressed extra nice, you opened the door for her, the car was sparkling, and on it, you maybe had something like you remembered on a phone call that she really loved gummy worms, and you got gummy worms. And I remember you said you like these. I got some for you to snack on before we got to dinner. Just something stupid like that. Then you get to the restaurant. There's already reservations. Oh, you must be Cindy. I've heard a lot about you. Come on. Like, all these little pieces are already getting her to go, who is this guy? And she's already thinking, if you can get her to think in the date, during the date, man, I want to see this guy again. I want to go out. You're already getting her to think about that. At the end, you could stutter. You could stumble. You could be like, hey, would you like to? You could ask like an idiot. She'll probably find it charming, right? So it's not about the end when we go, what do we say when someone says this? What do we say when someone says that? It's like, I don't know if anything could save you depending on why they're saying it. You guys follow what I'm saying? So the same thing goes with a workout. What if we're able to make it set up so that in the middle of the workout or somewhere before you get to that point, they're already going like, man, this is what I was looking for. This is great. Oh man, I love the way he's like working with us. This instructor is fantastic. Wow, these people are really motivated. These people are really cool here. Like, how could you create that so that you're selling them before you ask for the sale? And then this way, they're just waiting for it. You guys follow that? How many of you guys have been like that in a buying decision before? Whether you're buying a car, you're buying a gym membership, you're looking to get a house, and you're in the middle. They haven't even asked for the sale yet, and you're already like, you've already made the decision. I'm doing this. Anybody ever been there before? So the wrong question is, how do I overcome this objection? That's the amateur salesperson question. The right question is, how do I deliver an incredible sales process where every step I take is getting them closer to making a sale? Every move you make is either getting you there or here, one or the other. How do we get them closer? So treat every piece with respect. Make sense? Yeah? Cool. Okay, next one. People buy from those they what?
Know, like, and trust.
Know, like, and trust. Now, there is truth to that. I can't buy from you if I don't know you. And I'm a lot less likely to buy from you if I don't like you. I mean, at the end of the day, I do remember buying a car from someone that I thought was annoying, but I already knew I wanted the car. So I don't necessarily agree that this has to be done. And then trust, it's hard to trust someone that you don't like. So I don't even think I trusted that guy, but I trusted the car. So what does that mean? Yes, it is more advantageous to buy from someone that you know, like, and trust. You are definitely more likely to buy from that person, but it's not a necessity. What is a necessity is you got a high level of certainty. Certainty trumps everything. We have a need for certainty. In fact, we will take certainty over good news. So how many of you guys, if you think about this, you ever worked for someone in the past and you weren't sure about your job? You maybe even thought you were going to get fired, but you just want to know. So you're like, just tell me, just be upfront with me. I can take it. And then you get the news and you're like, well, I've been here 10 years. So it's like, you can't take it. You just rather have the certainty, right? We crave certainty. I'd rather just know. Okay. Now, the interesting piece about that is that works in all levels. Now, we've talked about this in the past. There's 4 different levels of certainty that you can have, right? So there's, I got to get you certain in this thing. And you have to be certain that you need Pilates, right? Pilates is the solution for you. Then you have to be certain in the way we do Pilates, whether it's club Pilates or whatever, like the way we do it here. This is the way you want to do it. Then you need to be certain that I understand your pain points, that you really took the time to understand like why I'm here to connect me with the right solution. And then I need to be certain in myself that I'm actually going to commit to it and go through with it. Now, here's the funny thing. What I always taught you, if you've watched these videos before, is that you need to create a high level of certainty in the product and in themselves and all that. What I never taught you, and I'm telling you right now for the first time, is it's a really cool secret weapon if you get them to feel a lack of certainty in what they currently have. See, most people don't buy because the only place certainty lives is their current position. So, for example, if I'm selling Ty, for example, well, Ty may not know exactly how things are going to work here. You should get results. Looks like a lot of people are. Looks like there's good reviews, good testimonials. Looks like it's a good gym. I mean, should happen. We're not certain. It looks like it's something that I would enjoy doing. I like the workout today. So yeah, I probably could see myself sticking to it, but I'm not really certain. What I am certain about is that if I don't do this, I have an extra $200 in my pocket every month, and I'm still going to live this life. That is certain. Would you guys agree? There's certainty in that. So the reason a lot of people say no is really what they're choosing is certainty. We describe it as, well, because we didn't create a certainty here, but what if we could not only create max certainty here, but we could also create a lack of certainty here? So I'll take somebody through. Ronnie, can you imagine you're a prospect for me? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so Ronnie, I want you to imagine that you're the average person. Don't be the crazy hard one that you're afraid of all the time, and don't be the super lay down easy one. Be the average person. Okay? Fair?
Got it.
All right, great. And now let's say you decided that your goal was to, get fitter, have more energy. If you could lose an extra 15, 20 pounds, that would be ideal to you.
Okay.
Okay? All right, great. Now my goal, so in this role play, is not to only create a high level of certainty here, but we're going to imagine I already did that with the process. But because there's also high level of certainty here, I have to take that away. I have to destroy that. I have to create a lack of certainty in your current situation. Fair enough? Okay. So Ronnie, I know that earlier today we talked about, you being able to have a lot more energy, you being able to just feel fitter, feel better, and you also to be able to, lose about 15 to 20 pounds. Quick question. What was your favorite part about today's workout?
My favorite part, honestly, was the energy in the room. Like I felt motivated to work harder than I would work at home.
Yeah. So, and you already know it's easier to have energy when there's energy in the room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't say, do you believe that? You already know. She's going to agree with it. Great. We have certainty in that. Got it. All right. And then do the people in the room, do you feel like they look like they're fit on their way to being fit? Do you see what they're doing would get them fit?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you already know this gets fit. Yes?
Yeah, it looks like it for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Now I know you had a goal to lose 15 to 20 pounds. And earlier today you said that, it's been a couple years that you got to that 15 to 20, right?
Yeah.
So all we know today is that you've got 15 to 20 to lose. What we don't know is what it might be in 2 years from now.
Right.
Is that kind of fair? Like, we could stay the same. We could even get better. Like, Ronnie, you seem like a super motivated person. So I actually have no doubt that you'll do something and get really great results, right? I feel like you can, but it could also go the other way. Fair?
It could.
Just don't know. So
Yeah.
what I'd like to do is say, or ask you this question: if you were to join here, would you have a lot more certainty that we go in the better direction?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely go. I mean, I would feel much more confident that it would go in the right direction.
Yeah, and losing the weight is kind of like an
Mhm.
outcome of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so 15 to 20 pounds, what I see generally is we can do like a pound a week if you do a 3-day a week program. If you do 2 days a week, maybe like, pound every other week or so. I'd like to see you 3 times a week, which means 15 to 20 weeks, which what is that? Like 4 months from now, 5 months? Let's say
Mhm.
5 months. So it's January now. Now create a visual. So February, March, April, May, June 21st. Is that like the first day of summer?
Yeah, that is.
Or May? I don't know. Whatever it is, we're ready for summer. Is that pretty cool?
Mhm.
So basically, before we go into summer, you've got that 20-pound less body, possibly even sooner. But more importantly, like, how cool would it be to have all that energy for the summer as well?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah? Okay. Awesome. So I know we're not 100% clear as to what life could look like here. That's okay. But how do you feel about life here, working out with me like this?
Yeah, it feels better. I think that would take me closer to my goals for sure.
Awesome. Okay, so I like to see you 3 times a week. I'm going to show you the different options we have. Which one of these stands out to you the most?
All of them.
Well, it's hard because you're not looking at a real paper, right? You're gonna pick one because I did my job on the decoy, right? You pick one. I go, awesome. Hey, Ronnie, can I say something to you?
Yes.
Congratulations, and I'm super proud of you. This isn't an easy decision. Most people don't make it. Welcome to Loud Rumor. Shake hands.
Thank-
Now, she never said yes. The question I asked her is, which one of these stands out to you the most? Now, Ronnie, which one of these stands out to you the most? This one. Awesome. Hey, Ronnie, can I just say something to you? Yeah. Congratulations. I'm really proud of you. A lot of people don't make the decision you made. It's very normal to not make decisions. So I'm proud of you. Welcome to Loud Rumor. Shake hands, move on, go to the next thing.
And to be fair, I was trying to find an objection. I couldn't think of one. Based on how you were talking, I was like, what would I usually say? But like everything sounded so good. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but what happens is we work so hard to create certainty here, but if we still are matching certainty for certainty, the I need to think about it could still be a thing. So, but if we can make certainty only live in one part of the fence, on this side of the fence, well, then technically the only place I don't know what the hell is going to happen is if I don't do this. Who knows? It could get worse. It could stay the same. Maybe it gets better. I don't know. The point is, I'm not buying because I'm afraid of what can happen. I'm not buying because I don't like the idea of lack of certainty. And so I'm not going to buy this life anymore. I'm going to buy this new one instead. Stop buying into this one. Does that make sense to you guys? With me on that? Yeah?